Good morning. I'm Raven Dodd, and I am filling in for Dorothy Holmes this morning as your worship associate. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah. Our beloved member, Kevin Ionno, is our worship leader this morning. Kevin is retired from the Georgia Department of Labor, where he worked in vocational rehabilitation, employment services, later becoming a trainer in the Commissioner's Office. In his years there, he did pre-employment training, matched clients with employers, designed and delivered training to staff, clients, and the greater community, and served as a project manager for educational events and workshops. He's the former chair of the coastal branch of the Climate Reality Project, which played a key role in persuading the Savannah City Council to commit to obtaining its energy from 100% clean, renewable sources by 2035, and the chair of the UUCS Green Team. All members of UUCS know and appreciate Kevin's highly effective Green Team leadership in our church. Thank you, Kevin, for all you do for us and for the Savannah community. We look forward. We look forward to your message this morning. Our worship, religious education, and covenant group theme for April is the practice of joy, a capacity all of us need to identify in ourselves and practice at this challenging time in our country and our lives. Here at the UU Church of Savannah, we are working to build a diverse, multicultural, and beloved community. We celebrate the presence and participation of people of all races, genders, sexual orientations, abilities, and ethnic and national origins. We warmly welcome you on YouTube and on site, whoever you know yourself to be and wherever you are on your journey. After the story for all ages and after the offering, we sing a short response. The lyrics are printed in the order of service. There are 2 cards in the pew back in front of you to help us gather information for the good of our community. Use the QR code on the Rainbow Chalice card to sign up for our newsletter and receive a welcome letter from our minister, or fill the card out by hand. The card with the red heart and chalice is there to share a joy or a sorrow. If you fill out either of these cards, please put it in the collection plate as it comes around, and please print clearly. Church announcements are emailed to members and friends on Tuesdays and Fridays. Check your email for complete details about the announcements for this week. We're not doing the regular announcements except for one. Today at 12:30 is the Budget Roundtable in Philippa's Place. With the lighting of our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, we enter into sacred time. Our chalice lighter this morning is Francis. The chalice lighting words today are adapted from Reverend Gordon B. McKeeman. It would help if I'd let the... Sorry about that. Deep calls unto deep, joy calls unto joy, light calls unto light. Let the kindling of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope, and of joy. And as one flame lights another, nor grow the less, we pledge ourselves to be the bearers of light and joy wherever we are.
Good morning, friends. Before I do my little gig here, I want to thank the members of the Green Team who brought these potted plants today. At Milne's suggestion, Milne has become the creative director of the Green Team. So anyway, we're all acquainted, I think, with the yin-yang symbol that's right up here, which comes from the Chinese philosophical tradition and is closely associated with Taoism. It represents the interplay of forces which hold the world together, the dance of opposites. Light, dark, male, female, action, restraint, within, without, expansion, contraction, life, death. What people often overlook with this interplay of apparent polarities is that these relationships of seeming opposites constitutes the whole, the one. It makes no sense to talk about solutions to the meta-crisis of which climate change, injustice, war, ecological overshoot, loneliness, and isolation, etc., are a part, unless we understand the truth that the world exists only in and through relationships. Physicists tell us there are no things, only relationships, in constant flux and on every scale. It is through relationship that the world is created moment by moment, again and again. And so now is the moment of creation, right now, every moment. The joy, the deep joy and hope of sacred activism comes from realizing that this, the constant creation of our world and relationship, is what gives us our power. Ram Dass says our actions and states of mind matter because we are so deeply interconnected with one another. Join us today as we explore the relationship that links this interconnectedness with vision and possibility of a better world through the joy of sacred activism.
It's now time for the story for all ages, so everyone who wants to see the picture.
You have to go for the universe.
Well, let's hear it from the
We're going to sing hymn number 38, Morning Has Broken, and stand and rise and body your spirit, sing your gray hymnals. Morning has broken.
Amelia, can I get you set up? Keep me company. My assistant, Amelia, here to help me out. We have a wonderful story today. It's by Kobe Yamada and has beautiful illustrations by Gabriela Baroche. I have a question before we begin. What do you see in this picture? What do you see? girl sitting with a pig behind her. Okay, do you think it might be her pet? Maybe? Yeah. What else do you see? What does she have on her head?
A bird hat.
Bird hat or a mask? What do you think she's doing? Stargazing? What else? What? Sitting? Think maybe she's thinking and imagining, thinking and wondering. Do you ever do that? Do you ever think and use your imagination and wonder about things? Then this story might be about you. I'm going to ask the grown-ups out there and also in the sky, do you ever take a few moments and enjoy using your imagination, wondering about the whys, the what-ifs, and the maybes? If you do, raise your hand. Well, so this story might be about you as well. Okay, let's try. Let's see. Have you ever wondered why you are here? You ever wondered why you were here? You are the only you that ever has been or ever will be. You have so much to offer. Maybe you will invent something that no one has ever seen before. It's quite a something, isn't it? Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can, see as much as you can see. Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget it is on journeys that discoveries are made. Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day. Or maybe you will lift cheering crowds to their feet. Do everything with love. Follow your heart and see where it leads you. Maybe you will speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. Oops. Maybe you are here to help in ways that only you can. What is she doing here? Letting butterflies do what? Is she letting them escape from the cage? There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy. At times you will feel really hard, and you might make a mess of things. You might fall down. Have you ever tried something and fell down? I see some hands out there. You may fail. How does she look? Sad? Defeated. Yeah, defeated. Yep. But you will also get back up, and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller, because there really is more inside you than you know. And this world needs your gifts, your talents, and your big ideas. And maybe you are just getting started. What if you are only scratching the surface of what you can do and who you can be? What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet, and there is something powerful, even magic, about you? You already have everything it takes to do big things. What do you have that you already have. Maybe you have no idea just how good you really are. And maybe you don't know how much you matter. But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting centuries for someone just like you. Centuries. Who knows? One thing is for sure, you are here. And because you are here, anything is possible. What's happening here? A pig's flying. Maybe, just maybe, you will exceed your wildest dreams. So that is the story for you to think about and share. And I've asked Miss Megan if she might like to take it upstairs, because I think those pictures you might want to really look at more carefully.
Thank you, Melanie.
Sure.
As we prepare to give our gifts to the church in support of its good work, let us think of our gifts of acts of joy, joy that, giving to this church, is bountifully returned in all that it gives us, the givers, and joy that our gifts will support the church's mission and ministry in and beyond this church, including what many of our members give in support of our broader community. An important example of what we do beyond our walls is exemplified by one of our members, Chris Carroll. Chris contributes to the Coretta Sea Turtle Project. She has been working with sea turtles since 1990 after graduating with a master's degree in biology from Buffalo State College in New York, of course. She has a long history of working with various types of sea turtles in different locations: Kemp's Ridleys in New York and Mexico, leatherbacks in Costa Rica, and loggerheads in Florida and Georgia. In 1996, she was hired as the director of the Coretta Research Project in Savannah and has been working there happily ever since. She has been a member of the UUCS for about 8 years, she thinks, where she participates in Justice Unites Savannah Together, the Green Team, and the Social Justice Team. Thank you, Chris. And also, she is serving in the church this morning as one of our ushers. Today's offering is a special collection that will go to the Coretta Sea Turtle Project. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes.
Well, I dreamed I saw the knight in armor coming, saying something about a queen. There were peasants singing and drummers drumming, and the archer split the tree. There was a fanfare blowing to the sun that was floating on the breeze. Look at Mother Nature on the run in the 1970s. Look at Mother Nature on the run in the 21st century. I was lying in a burned out basement with a full moon in my eye. I was hoping for replacement when the sun burst through the sky. There was a band playing in my head, and I felt I had to try. Thinking about what a friend had said, I was hoping it was a lie. Thinking about what a friend had said, I was hoping it was a lie. Well, I dreamed I saw the silver spaceship flying in a yellow haze of the sun. There were children crying and colors flying all around the chosen one. All in a dream, all in a dream. The loading had begun. Flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home in the sun. Flying Mother Nature's silver seed to a new home.
Well, we have a joy from Robert Bazinet. I actually landed an interview with the city of Savannah tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Woohoo, good luck. I'm not sure who this is from because there's no name on it, but it's a joy. Thank you to our amazing auction team for a great evening of fundraising and community, and it was awesome. I have a sorrow from Susan, thinking of the 4-year-old cancer-ridden child sent away from doctors with no more medicine, and of the infant separated from its breastfeeding mother. And I have a sorrow for Pope Francis. Even though I'm not a Christian, he certainly was a great man, and I'm sad to see him go. Okay. Chris, would you like to come up and speak to us? Isn't she coming up now? Yeah.
Come on.
Come on up, Chris.
We apologize for this loosely choreographed service.
Yeah. I'm reading somebody else's script this morning, and it's not the way I do it, so it's like I'm all mixed up. Okay.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Coretta Research Project. So most of you know historically that sea turtles have been and continue to face a multitude of threats worldwide, including like drowning in nets and habitat destruction, poaching of eggs and adults, predators, ingestion of meat, or ingestion of marine debris, and certainly climate change. By the middle of the last century, sea turtle populations were dramatically declining, including our sea turtles here in the southeastern U.S. Luckily, early conservationists recognized these declines and raised the alarm, and many beaches along the southeastern coast initiated beach and in-water protection programs to protect turtles, and the Coretta Research Program was one of these programs. Coretta Research Project is a hands-on research, conservation, and education program that protects the threatened loggerhead sea turtles on Wausau National Wildlife Refuge. It began in 1973 as a cooperative effort between the Savannah Science Museum, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and Wausau Island LLC, and is the longest continuously run saturation tagging program in the United States. And the goals are to learn all about all aspects of biology of loggerheads, to protect nests from predators and spring tides, to increase the number of hatchlings that are reaching the water. And we're the only project that invites the public to work alongside biologists to protect turtles for full weekly sessions throughout the summer and learn about their biology and the challenges they face and what we are doing and how they can help. So this is the 53rd year coming up. We have tagged over 2,150 individual turtles, protected over 6,300 nests, and released more than 433,000 hatchlings into the water, all with the help of over 3,700 volunteers from all 50 states and 6 countries. So we're very optimistic about the upcoming season. Every 3 years or so, we have a really high nesting year, and that's predicted to be this year. And we are nearly full of volunteers who pay to be out there, battling heat and bugs, living in a single-room cabin with no electricity or comforts of home. But they're all there with one single mission: to help protect the turtles. And we start patrolling in about a week. Hopefully the turtles do too. And we just can't wait to hit the beach. But I'm really grateful that y'all considered credit today. So thank you so much, and happy Earth Day.
So in the spirit of going back and forth with our service this morning, let us hold all our joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, in our hearts as we join together in the responsive reading found in your order of service. Sorrow is everywhere. As we mourn together, so we celebrate together, and offer thanks that we are not alone. So may it be now and in all the days to come.
Safe till the morning. Some of you are too young to know who this was, but he was one of my heroes and mentors as I grew up, and that was Daniel Berrigan. He was an American Jesuit priest, and during the 1960s and throughout the rest of his life, an anti-war activist, a Christian pacifist, a playwright, a poet, and an author. Berrigan's protest against the Vietnam War earned him both admiration and a lot of scorn, including multiple arrests and sentences to prison for destruction of government property. For the rest of his life, Berrigan remained one of the United States' leading anti-war activists. In 1980, he co-founded the Plowshares Movement, an anti-nuclear protest movement. I invite you to be in a meditative and reflective mode as we listen to this meditation on a true sacred activist. The theologian Mirabai Starr shares what she learned about the nonviolent direct actions of Jesuit peace activist Father Daniel Berrigan, inspired by conversations with her friend and iconographer, Father William Bill McNichols. She reflects, what many of his followers may not have known was that Daniel Berrigan was inconsolable. As a champion for nonviolence, Dan did not see a lot of evidence that the culture of war would ever wane. Nevertheless, he persevered. What else can a true prophet do? One is called to live nonviolently, he said, even if the change one works for seems impossible. It may or may not be possible to turn the United States around through nonviolent revolution. But one thing favors such an attempt: the total inability of violence to change anything for the better. He also said, peacemaking goes nowhere, and yet it must be done. As a young Jesuit, Father Bill lived in a communal house with Dan Berrigan in New York City. Sometimes when Dan did not come down for dinner, Bill would go upstairs and knock on his door. He'd look like he'd been assaulted, Father Bill told me. It wasn't the criticism he received that burdened him, because when Bill asked him what it was like to be continuously attacked, he answered, I think I must be doing something right. It was more about what Father Bill describes as taking on God's anguish for the world and walking around with it. Father Bill says that in these moments, he was so deeply moved by Dan's sorrow that all he could do was to sit quietly beside him. It was like visiting Job, he told me. A prophet cannot know that all will be well, that those in power will wake up and mend the damage they have caused, and that peace will prevail. The mystic can never be certain that union with God will be the outcome of longing for God. They must rest in unknowing. Unknowing is not always comfortable. In fact, it can feel a lot like grief. And yet that emptiness, that waiting, that liminal space is sacred. It's what distinguishes a prophet mystic from a self-righteous activist or a spiritual narcissist. It is in the interior desert where the landscape appears barren, that patience reveals the miracle of life teeming just below the surface. The more we mindfully observe what is, the more beauty comes into focus. There is nothing broken here, nothing to fix. Rather, the prophet mystic practices sitting with reality as it is. From that space of quiet listening, we may perceive what is ours to do and tap into the vitality we need to do it. We take up our birthright of belonging, and in the spirit of the mystical Jewish teaching of Tikkun Olam, we mend the broken world and restore wholeness to the web of interbeing. Amen.
What is something that anyone can do for the community and see immediate results? I have found that just picking up trash when I'm on a walk or keeping the streets clean in my neighborhood gives immediate gratification. You can see the things look better right away, and maybe some bird or other animal will not eat that little piece of plastic that's lying on the street. For exercise, you can go plogging. Plogging is a combination of jogging with picking up litter, merging the Swedish verbs plocka up, pick up, and jogga, jog, gives the verb plogga, from which the word plogging is derived. It started as an organized activity by Erik Ahlström in Sweden around 2016 and has spread throughout the world, following increased concern about plastic pollution. As a workout, it provides variation in body movements by adding bending, squatting, and stretching to the main action of running, hiking, or walking. Similar to plogging, pliking is a combination of picking up litter with hiking and or biking. Searching the internet, you can find numerous stories about plogging all over the world. The author David Sedaris, who's famous for the Santaland Diaries, read on NPR radio, has plogged internationally for years. I remember reading his book, Let's Explore Diabetes with Owls, where he picked up litter in France. In The Guardian, there was an article about when he was in West Sussex in the UK. He was made famous there by walking up to 60,000 steps in a day and picking up litter. I can barely do 10,000. He was so effective in keeping his neighborhood clean that the local authorities even named a garbage truck in his honor. And I have a picture of that if you want to see afterwards. In Iceland, plogging, picking up trash while jogging, is celebrated annually on April 24th as a national trash pickup day called Plok Daguren. I read an article written about 4 years ago about the president of Iceland and his participation in numerous plogging events with local clubs there. The president of Iceland loves to share what he's doing and hopes to inspire others to get involved with their local neighborhoods. And there's probably a lot of open space there, so he probably gets really good exercise with jogging. Don't be shy to get out there, he says. I am honored every day to be able to say that to myself, all right, I didn't solve the problems of the world today, but I did some good. Ripu Daman Bevely introduced the concept of plogging in India, and he's known as the Plog Man of India. He started the Litter-Free India movement, which has seen participation of close to 10 million people. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also plogged, again leading by example to clean up India. What are the benefits, the health benefits of plogging? A scientific study from 2022 found that plogging and jogging are comparable in terms of energy expenditure, but that the proportion of energy coming from fat is significantly higher in plogging. I guess this is from bending down and picking up. What are the ploggers' secret weapons? I brought them here. When you're walking around Savannah, these are just everywhere on the sidewalks, the streets, everywhere. I guess they come from liquor stores, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where these come from, but they're everywhere. I was plogging a couple days ago, and I found some SCAD trash. Perfectly good. So to get started, start plogging, start small. You can plog at your local park, for instance, or even walking or jogging with your dog around the neighborhood. Take it to the trails. If you like to hike or trail run, stash a trash bag in your pack and pick up waste you find along the way. Involve your community. If you want to organize an event, reach out to your local running club, ask a friend, or look online. RUU Green Committee started with a Tybee cleanup event, with more monthly cleanups to be scheduled in the future. You'll likely find plenty of others who would also like to pitch in. Thank you.
When Kevin talked to me about speaking on how I do sacred activism, I said, I'm not really an activist. And Kevin said, well, that's very interesting. Why would you say that? Well, I've always thought of activists as people who advocate and fight and organize and tie themselves to bridges and climb towers and unroll banners to get people's attention, to do things that are very action-oriented. That's never been my strength. Yes, I go to marches, I show up at the Nehemiah event, I send emails to my member of Congress, but other than that, I'm not doing the kind of activism that our UU teams do on a weekly basis. When I lived in London, I had a client who was with Greenpeace, and she was sailing the seas, challenging the Japanese whaling ships and putting her life on the line on a regular basis. I had so much admiration for her. If I argue or debate with someone who has opposing ideas, two things can happen. One, I freeze and forget everything I know. Or I bring out the flamethrowers. Neither one works very well. I will boycott something if I don't believe in the product or the company. Since McDonald's opened in Montreal when I was a teenager, I boycotted them. I have never bought anything from McDonald's. The way I help the planet is from a shamanic perspective, teaching people. The type of shamanism that I practice comes from a place of love and creating intentions that are for the best of the planet and everyone on it, including animals, birds, and all creatures. It means connecting to and working with the elements. My shamanic way developed with connecting to the earth as our mother. I understood that she is a living, sentient being, and it took me a while to learn to communicate with her. I was fortunate to have a father who felt most at home in the forest, cross-country skiing. We were skiing together in Vermont when he was 89, and I asked him where he got his strength. He said, "The north wind and I are brothers. We fly over the snow together." That struck me. The wind is my spirit, the fire, my passion, the water, my deepest feelings, the earth, my strength. I began to communicate with trees and understood that trees communicate with everything in the earth. So how does this relate to activism? It is through intention that we create change. However you act, it is the intention that creates the lasting effect. One way I create intention is ceremony. Something happens in a ceremony when you follow an ancient tradition. An example of this is how you move around a circle. In most traditions, you move clockwise. When I move clockwise in ceremony, I feel as if I am a gear, and that gear is turning a much larger wheel of change. The way that you project your intention, the combination of spirit and earth in ceremony, creates a result in the physical world. Now, how this works is a discussion for another time. But for many years, I used ceremony as my way of helping to change the world for the better. There is amazing power in a strong intention. I always come from my superpower, which is love. I've come from love since I was a child, even in the face of massive adversity. My form of sacred activism is to help individuals transform the way they see the world and their position in it. Every time I help someone get closer to their deepest self, they get closer to the earth, and there's another person who's going in the right direction. I think of Kevin's superpower as having a vision and then being able to organize people to fulfill that vision. If I tried to be like Kevin, I would only do mediocre work because it's not my superpower. We've all got superpowers. If you don't know what yours is, you know where your strengths lie, and you're the part way there. All we've got to do is use it. If you come to any action from the right place, then the action will be more effective. As a child, I declared to my parents that I was a citizen of the world. Since then, I have never been to a country where I did not feel at home. I love everyone. Of course, some more than others, for sure. Connecting to people of other cultures is crucial. What helps is that food, music, and love transcend language. We've got a lot of work to do to get the people to start loving each other and the planet. Sometimes I feel we're going backwards, but I have faith to continue to love and help others to understand their precious gifts. Thank you. Now we have hymn number 21 in the gray hymnal.
Stand in body or spirit as we sing.
Which
Please excuse my allergies. Every culture possesses its own worldview, a philosophy of how to be in the world. To me, it seems that our civilization, our culture as a whole, is no longer guided by any meaningful philosophy. Strict materialism and corporate capitalism have gutted the sacred and led to a world where life's meaning is defined only as the acquisition of more material things. Because of the official dogma in our society for the last 300 or 400 years that everything is dead matter, we have succumbed to the ubiquitous suggestion that we can only find meaning and happiness in acquiring more stuff. Yet, as Western lifestyles spread around the globe, depression and unhappiness are at all-time highs. The National Institute of Health's National Center for Biotechnology Information finds, and I quote, a positive correlation between a country's gross domestic product per capita as a quantitative measure of modernization and lifetime risk of a mood disorder. Modern populations are increasingly overfed, malnourished, sedentary, sunlight deficient, sleep deprived, and socially isolated. The modernization of the world has led to many beneficial things, as Reverend Lisa emphasized in her sermon last week. But clearly, materialist philosophy, if you can call it that, is failing miserably. Many, many people in our society from all strata are chronically unhappy and anxious. And now we are being led by the blind, a pack of people, and I say this with compassion, some very clever, some very ignorant, and all of them selfish, who operate with a pathological compulsion for power and wealth, unfettered by any sense of restraint. It's like the old Eagle song, life in the fast lane, everything all the time. Just because a thing, never asking the question, just because a thing can be done, does it mean it's worth doing? And unrestrained by reason or conscience, they either don't see the consequences of their actions or simply don't care. The victim of the actions is life itself, its people, its communities, cultures, animals, plants, ecosystems, the waters, the lands, the sky, the planet. Blinded by greed and the thirst for power, their sense of sacredness of life has atrophied. To quote another pop icon philosopher, George Harrison, they are people who have gained the world and lost their soul. Someone said, and I wish I remembered who it was, action absorbs anxiety. I strongly believe that it's very important that we don't react to the slings of the world as victims, but respond as people who possess the sense of a different power. Not power over, but power with life and with each other. A power that comes from our sense of sacred connectedness. And that's why I, and many of us in this room, practice sacred activism. The roots of sacred activism reach deep into time, coming to us from sacred traditions around the world. There's a reason why these symbols are on the stained glass behind me. For all their baggage, these traditions up here and other ones offer wisdom and ways to cultivate within us values and practices which have withstood the test of time and which ground us in our work. Values and practices such as being guided by the good, the beautiful, and the true, which comes from the Western classical world. The value of ahimsa, nonviolence, which comes from Indian philosophy. Reciprocity with the natural world that sustains us, which guides Native American cultures, as well as the panentheism of paganism and other indigenous cultures. The practice of non-action mentioned in Taoism, which doesn't mean doing nothing, but rather moving in harmony with the flow of life, not against it. Buddhist mindfulness awakens in us the ability to see clearly what the best response to the moment is before us. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us not to be attached to the fruit of our actions. The Quran of Islam teaches Khalifa, which includes upholding justice and fighting corruption. Judaism has, as Steve said, tikkun olam, making the world whole. Humanism upholds the dignity of every individual. Neoplatonism emphasizes our oneness, and Christianity exhorts us to practice philia, love for our brothers and sisters who are everyone we meet. Sacred activism also incorporates the shared values of Unitarian Universalism, given here with my particular spin: interdependence, honoring the interdependent web of all existence as revealed not only by traditional cultures, but by science and systems theory, and acknowledging our place in it. Pluralism, affirming that we, humans and all other life, are sacred beings, valuing diversity in culture, experience, theology, and ecosystems. Without diversity, we are surrounded by a deadening monoculture and limited in our ability to creatively respond to the challenges we face. Justice, making right what is wrong. Using the golden rule as a guide. Transformation, we can evoke from within ourselves and invoke in each other a better way of living through practice, encouragement, and example. Generosity, be open-handed, sharing, and hospitable with others. Equity, every person is inherently sacred and has the right to flourish with dignity and love. In the healthiest societies, no one has too much and no one has too little. Excuse me. At various times, I've drawn upon these various traditions for deep meaning, deep joy, and deep inspiration for action. For me, they're not just ideas. They are embodied ways of living and moving through the world from moment to moment with clarity and intention to the best of my ability. I'm not here to espouse any particular religion or any religion at all. I'm simply making the point that all these faith traditions and philosophies hold life to be sacred. I'm also not saying you must believe in God, only suggesting that sacred activism is, in the words of the brilliant polymath Ian McGilchrist, living as if God existed. Ultimately, it's not what you believe, it's how you live. Sacred activism also fiercely affirms that we are not passive in this world. Life doesn't just happen to us, it happens through us. Even in the worst circumstance, we can choose a response to what is facing us. There is deep joy in that knowledge and hope, a hope that opens within us a faith in life's creative impulse and in humanity's ability to steer this impulse. Life is in constant flux. Our worldview, our perceptive lenses, channel this endless change into our lived reality. We see it all around us, the results of what our collective human consciousness has created, for good and for bad. Our world as an exterior representation of our collective consciousness. We control nothing, but because we are in relationship with the world, we influence everything. The way in which we attend to things changes what there is to attend to. Sacred activism calls on us to take up the moral responsibility to attend carefully to our world. As Jane Goodall says, your life matters. You can't live a day without making an impact on the world. And what's most important is to think about the impact of your actions on the world around you. We can never fully know what those will be. We are all affecting the world every moment, whether we mean to or not. So do it consciously, intentionally. The truth is, we are often not aware of how what we do and say will ripple outward into the world. Sacred activism is the practice of seeing the world we inhabit clearly, in the moment, envisioning an image of the future we want to create, and releasing that creative vision with joy through our actions. But let's acknowledge that sacred activism, as Steve's meditation pointed out, doesn't always seem that joyous. It can be difficult, disappointing, painful. Climate change, consumerism on steroids fueled by fairy tale economics, industrial agriculture, destruction of ecosystems, social and environmental injustice, war, politics, social media, mental health, homelessness, the rise of authoritarianism, and on and on and on. These things are all knitted together in the fabric of our meta-crisis. We see this happening, and sometimes we will become tired, weary, fearful, frustrated, angry, burned out. I certainly have. The mornings I've woken up and sat on the edge of the bed brooding about the world my children and grandchildren will live in. It says in the book of Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven, and so it is with sacred activism. Life has an ebb and flow, but we often tend to push on when the time has come for pulling back, for an hour or for a year. Though the work is never finished, sometimes it feels like our work is. This is tricky because as humans, we are often prone to self-deception. We tell ourselves what we want to hear. How do we know if we need to push through or if we're banging our heads against the wall? How do we discern if we're weary and in need of rest or just throwing in the towel? Are we being called from a new direction or indulging a fleeting fancy of escape? I can't tell you. At these times, you have to go inside with as much honesty and clarity as you can muster. Spend time in quietude, reflect, become Socrates to the voices within you, and talk to others that you trust. Go hiking, camping, body surfing, get on your bike, do needlepoint, paint, make pottery, tend a garden, go sailing, read poetry, build a chair, dive into the wisdom of ancient traditions. If you can, travel to new places or just walk in the park. Do new things that require you to see in new ways and rekindle the astonishment of being alive. As you do these things, keep the question open, floating in the background. The question, what can I offer the world now? When you jump back in, when you're ready, you don't need to have it all figured out. You only need to sense the future that beckons you. In the last 6 years, the Green Team has tried to practice sacred activism on many fronts, all relating to protecting and restoring our natural world and establishing environmental justice through awareness and education, political action, workshops, facilitating the process of reducing the carbon footprint of the church. Right now, we're starting to encourage regular participation by church members in monthly beach cleanups. Next year, we'll be exploring the possibility of becoming a resilience hub for the community. Sacred activism abounds on the Green Team and in this church. It's in people like Bill Pearson and Larry Yon, who sparked the idea of beach cleanups, Chris Carroll, Milne Cato, Jackie Pearson, and Margie Thompson, who promoted plant-based eating in January as healthier for the planet and ended the month with a delicious vegan potluck. The Native Plant Garden, led by Milne and Tom, who along with Roger Steves conceived of it, is an offshoot of the Green Team, now up and running on its own. You find sacred activism in folks like Heidi Braun and Julie Gilliard, with their passion for reducing waste and plastic use, and in the group of guys who showed up on a Saturday morning a couple years ago to weather strip doors and install fixtures for LED lights. Ed Owens, Ernie Hollingsworth, Bill Pearson, and Steve Hutter are key players in the solar panel project happening now. Elsewhere in the church, all activism requires technology to carry its message and music to inspire. Our AV team and our choir deliver on both counts. Also, there's Yvette Upton, who tirelessly works fighting racism. Judy Gaudier, who works for social justice and also puts out a fine spread every Sunday after church. Jessica Swanson, our new representative for the UU State Legislation Action Network. Chris and Steve, who coordinate Justice Unites Savannah actions for the church. And Reverend Lisa, speaking at rallies on behalf of the rights of all humans. as well as so many more of us who work with these folks. I mean, there are more names than I can mention here in the morning. And all of us who will show up next week for the Just Nehemiah action, right? So there we go. This is real work in the trenches, sometimes difficult, inconvenient, and frustrating, but sacred because we carry that sense of sacredness on behalf of those we're serving. The work and the practice of the Green Team has brought me deep joy, a joy rooted in the visceral experience I have of being in the flow of life and the meaning that gives me. I have the honor of acting with others, hopefully for good, in the small pocket of the world where we reside, of being part of something bigger than myself, the Green Team, this church, the human community where I live, the natural world, and ultimately all that is. So folks, I say follow your inclinations. They'll take you where you are needed. You can act politically. You can help restore an ecosystem. You can shelter and feed society's outcasts. You can sway people's minds by writing and speaking. You can stand with people whose lives and homes are considered expendable by those who perpetuate social and environmental injustice. You can speak out with both compassion and force against the Philistines who want to plunder the world for their own greed and power. Now is not the time to withdraw. It's time for us as individuals and as a society to shatter the glass house of mirrors that is our self-absorption. It's time to engage, to dare to hope, to rejoice in our triumphs, to cry in our defeats, to keep on keeping on even when the outcome is uncertain. And you might find deep joy in doing the work of sacred activism as you awaken to the sense that life is acting through you. What else could life do? And in the end, as the poet David White says, I was here, you were here, and together we made a world. Thank you.
Please stand if you're able for the closing hymn 1064 in the Teal hymnal.
Mountains and plains, far away from the
Our benediction this morning is from Joanna Macy, poet, author, Buddhist, deep ecologist, and at age 95, the grandmother of sacred activism. She says, "There's a song that wants to sing itself through us. We just got to be available. Maybe that song is to be sung through us is the most beautiful requiem for an irreplaceable planet. Or maybe it's a song of joyous rebirth as we create a new culture that doesn't destroy its world. But in any case, there's absolutely no excuse for our making our passionate love for our world dependent on what we think of its degree of health, whether we think it's going to go on forever. Those are just thoughts anyway. But this moment, you're alive. You're alive. So just dial up the magic of that at any time. Amen."